What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Keep It Kula podcast. My name is Jacqueline, and I have my special guest host back again, Owen. Thank you so much for coming back on the show, man. Lots to talk about.
Thank you, Jacqueline. Excited to be back.
As you guys know, Owen and I are both huge Giants fans. We've had some crazy moments talking about the Russell Wilson signing and the Jackson Dart draft, and so much that has happened with this team in the past couple months. But I think yesterday may have been the best moment ever as a Giants fan in the offseason, the past, 5 years, was the fact that Micah Parsons, Dallas Cowboys superstar pass rusher, has been traded to the Green Bay Packers. How do we feel, Owen? How do we feel?
What a treat! What a treat! I mean, incredible. So, correct me if I'm wrong. Two first round picks.
Yeah. And Kenny Clark,
yeah. Else? Or was there anyone else involved, or was it just the two first round picks?
Kenny Clark, defensive tackle, 3-time Pro Bowler, but no,
Listen,
Micah Parsons.
Yeah. So I feel incredible. I mean, Jerry Jones is an unmitigating disaster. He has been for a long time. And I was saying to my family, he's the gift that keeps on giving, and I hope he lives forever because his kids are probably incompetent too, but we don't know. Maybe they could be smarter. I know he has like a few kids. So let's just hope he lives forever. I want Jerry Jones to be the man that lives forever and ever and becomes more delusional, more crazy, screams at the media, gets angry. Just let him stay there forever because as long as he's there and not winning a Super Bowl, it felt like Christmas. It felt like, honestly, when the Leafs always collapsed. It was just a beautiful thing for me, as a Habs fan, Giants fan. It was, you guys see behind me the Habs gear. But it was a beautiful thing. How do you feel, Jack? That I'm thrilled about it.
Jerry Jones, thank you for all you have done in our lifetimes. The Cowboys haven't won a Super Bowl in our lifetimes, and we want to thank you for that, for making the Cowboys. The Cowboys are like a reality TV show, Jerry Jones is like the Andy Cohen of Bravo. He wants the drama. He wants the viewership. He wants the media. He wants the buzzwords. He's not looking to win. The Dallas Cowboys are the richest team in sports for a reason. They haven't won a Super Bowl since the early 90s, before we were alive, Owen. Yet, he knows what he's doing. He's a businessman. He's not a football man. He's a businessman. He wants everyone talking about this clown show that we are seeing with the Cowboys. So, thank you to Jerry Jones. Thank you for being the businessman you are. Thank you for wanting attention and not caring about your team and winning, because the Giants now don't have to face Micah Parsons 2 times a year.
Yeah, it really is incredible. It's great for the Giants. It's good for the division. I completely agree with you. I think he knows how to run a business. Clearly, they're America's team. To me, if you ask me who's America's team, it's the New England Patriots. I know the Patriots are a bit on the decline, but they won like 6 Super Bowls, dynasty. Maybe now even the Chiefs. To me, if you want to talk about America's team, that's a team that's like hot, winning championships, a dynasty, a team that's America's team isn't a team that, like you said, hasn't won in 30 years or whatever it's been, right? So he's a businessman. He owns the team. His kids are involved. It was great. And I think for us it's a bit sweeter because we have to kind of admit that we had the same thing last year. Losing Saquon, it was like a stab in the heart. So now we kind of see another foe, our biggest foe, lose maybe their best player, one of the best players in the entire league. So, it's beautiful. It really doesn't get much sweeter. We don't have to face it. Yeah, it doesn't get much sweeter, honestly. Yeah,
it doesn't. And this all came about because Micah Parsons is going into his 5th season, and he wanted to make a new deal, and Jerry wanted to keep him on his 5th-year option, and then franchise tag him probably in the next year. And so when these talks start to happen, it usually ends with a deal. We saw that with Scary Terry of the Commanders. There was talks. He was going to leave. No, he signed a big deal. We tend to see that with franchise players, and also Jerry just wanting to string everyone along for the drama, being like, oh, I don't know if Micah's going to play. I don't know. But then Jerry, and also another fact of this is that Jerry is paying Dak Prescott a crazy amount of money to do nothing. To not win anything. So Jerry Jones has kind of screwed himself over spending that kind of money on those players. But then with Micah wanted the kind of money that he deserves, right? He just signed a 4-year deal, $188 million. It's the highest ever by a non-quarterback. It's a crazy deal, but that's someone who I would give my money to. He is a franchise player. He's the only guy that I have seen who shows any sort of resemblance to Lawrence Taylor. And I'm not comparing, I'm not saying he's Lawrence Taylor. I
Yeah.
will not say that because no one will ever be Lawrence Taylor. I'm hoping the next Lawrence Taylor is Abdul Carter because
Yes.
he's on the Giants. But the guy that I am most terrified of on defense in football is Micah Parsons. So the fact that you're not going to spend that kind of money on your franchise guy is absurd to me. Absurd.
Listen, Jack, and you make a great point. He's absolutely terrifying. I mean, it doesn't matter if you're Daniel Jones, if you're whoever you are. It doesn't matter what. I mean, no longer Daniel Jones, of course, but it really doesn't matter who the quarterback is. He's a terrifying human being. He's not a fun assignment for the offensive lineman, for the quarterback, he's just a horrifying guy to have to face. You talked about Lawrence Taylor. That's a great comparison. Another scary guy. I like my favorite of all time, my favorite Giant ever, besides Eli Manning, Michael Strahan. These guys you like to keep them. And look, even Michael, we had him for 15 years, his whole career.
Forever.
Walked away in the sunset after winning the championship. Shout out the 2007 Giants.
Yeah.
Listen, it's fantastic for the whole division, right? Like, the Commanders are happy. The Giants are happy. The Eagles are fantastic, but they're still happy, right? It makes their life a little bit easier, right? Like, you're Jalen Hurts. You're like, oh, my God, like, we're going to beat you anyways because we're the Eagles, you're the Cowboys. But now I don't have to worry about your best player. Like, sign me up,
Yep.
It's fantastic. And, I had someone close to me, and this is not my point. It's their point. They said, like, because I said, you know what? I don't think it's so bad. Like, it's bad, but, 2 first-round picks, maybe you get a guy like that. But he said, yeah, that's exactly the problem, Owen. You get a guy like that. You had the guy. So you might try to get a guy like that. You might not, but you had the guy. Pay him the money. You keep the guy. He's also, I don't know Parsons' age. You might know, but I'm assuming
26.
He's in his mid-20s. He's my age, Jacqueline. He's in his mid-20s. He has his whole prime left. So maybe you get another Micah Parsons, but you probably don't because he's like a generational player. Mm-hmm. So, they got some good stuff, but it's Micah Parsons.
It's not going to be Micah Parsons. And it's like we saw this with the NBA back in February when the Mavericks, another Dallas team, traded away Luka Doncic for Anthony Davis, right? Kenny Clark in this situation is the Anthony Davis. Great player, but a little bit old and not the superstar that you want. And that's exactly what happened here with Micah and Luka. Like, I feel bad for Dallas fans, man. I do. I really feel for them. Not Cowboys fans, but more Mavericks fans.
Yeah. I mean, I think we can sympathize with them because the Giants had something similar. Our best player, one of our best players, walking. But I don't know. The overwhelming emotion for me is just I'm so happy. And I'm happy for the Giants quarterbacks. Like, you're Russell Wilson, you're Jameis Winston, you're Mr. Dart. Like, it makes your day. Listen, there's still tons of guys on, the Cowboys and all these teams in our division. There's good players in the D-line and, these guys that can hunt you down. But it just makes our life a little bit easier. When we have a Sunday, let's say we have a Sunday nighter against the Cowboys or whatever we have. I don't know exactly what times we face them at, or a Monday nighter, or even a Sunday at 1 p.m., whatever it might be. And they're preparing. It's like, okay, our assignment's a little bit easier. Let's say Dart ends up playing this year, which right now it looks like he's the 3. It looks like it's Wilson, and then it's Winston, then it's Dart. Let's say Dart somehow slides in this year, which if he's the 3rd quarterback, not likely. But let's just say he does. Rookie quarterback, it's a little nicer. He doesn't have to face Micah Parsons on a Sunday, right? So it's life is good. Life is good as a Giants fan, for sure.
Life is very fun. Listen, the preseason ended with Jackson Dart having a great time. I don't care about the preseason. I'm going to be honest with you. I watched, I don't know, maybe 2 minutes in total of the preseason. I know that for some guys, it, makes or breaks your chances of being on a team and all. Like Shador Sanders being the 3rd string quarterback because of his bad preseason, being set up maybe, but I think preseason is such BS and people get excited for it. I don't believe the hype of preseason. I don't care. So honestly, like, everyone's talking about preseason this, preseason that. I don't give a damn. I just want the damn season to start. And it's going to start next weekend, which I'm hyped about. But are you one of those guys that's like, oh, the Giants crushing in preseason, bring these Super Bowl champs? Or do you think preseason is just BS?
Jacqueline, I've watched 0 minutes. I know I'm on a sports podcast. Maybe I shouldn't say that. I've watched 0 minutes.
I'm the podcast host. I've watched 2 minutes, maybe.
Yeah. So I've watched 0 minutes of NFL preseason. I couldn't care less. I think it's nice for guys to get reps, but as a fan, I don't care. I don't have time to watch. We're busy with our lives and doing stuff. So I think it means nothing. The Giants could win each game in preseason 4,000 to nothing, and I would say I don't care. If you win 4,000 to nothing in week 1, I'll be happy. But I'd be thrilled. If you win 4,000 nothing, I don't even know. I'll go to Vegas. Who knows what I'll do? I'll throw a party. But I mean, yeah, like preseason, I couldn't care less. I care from week 1 onwards. So look, if the Giants, week 1, week 2, first few weeks, they start, have some good games, I'll be happy. But to me, preseason means nothing. You have players who are still kind of, hurt from the last season, still kind of recovering, still taking it easy. Even mentally, right? Even if you have your starters in there, which a lot of teams don't, like a lot of them aren't giving it 100% because they mentally know it doesn't mean anything. I'm not risking getting hurt. So I think we can't take anything from preseason. If you want to ask me the Giants' record, by the way, I have no idea. So you just mentioned them crushing it. They could have lost every game. They could have won every game. I have no idea how the Giants have done in the preseason.
I don't even know how it ended. I just know Jackson Dart played pretty well. But it's like, listen, you're putting your rookie in. Anyone's going to play well against your third-string guys on defense, right? It's not like he's going up against Micah Parsons, right? It's not. Also, Micah Parsons was seen, remember he was, lying down on the trainer's table the other day? That whole thing was crazy. But, yeah, preseason, I don't care. And because also part of – so this is the time where I'm anxious about the football season to start. I can't sit still waiting. But this year feels different. Yes, I'm excited for football. Yes, football has always been my number one thing, and it always will be. I always love my Giants. But baseball, man, has been so exciting to watch. And the Blue Jays have been just fantastic. It has been such a fun summer watching the Jays. I've been to more games than I've ever been to. I'm going to more soon. I got to see Max Scherzer start in games, which is just so cool to see the legend with this Jays team. So I posted on my Instagram story, follow my Instagram, Keep It Kula podcast, that that this team will be talked about for decades. And you responded, Owen. Yeah. You said, stop the cap. You don't see it. Yeah. What do you say to that now? Because you said that I don't see that. I don't know if they're going to win the World Series. What do you say now, 2 months almost later?
Jack, I'm so happy you brought this up because I wanted to talk about kind of how I feel about them. Meaningful September baseball and October baseball. So I'm really happy you asked me about this and about me saying stop the cap. My position hasn't changed that much. Okay. Even before the show, we talked Little Jays, and I was, chatting with you about how I feel and whatnot, and the players. It's been exciting to watch. I always say, I know, I'm not a diehard Jays fan by any means. I've been watching games recently, of course, like a lot of Torontonians. It's been fun. They've looked good. That one game against the Twins was a disaster, and it was infuriating. They're up 4-0.
I was at the game before, thankfully.
Yeah,
so
the game before was beautiful. They killed them. Yeah, I mean, the second game and even the third game against the Twins, kind of both disasters. I know they pulled out the third game, but it's the Twins. You shouldn't have to win 9-8. So really the Twins series is actually a huge letdown, in my opinion, just in terms of the way they played in the end. But how do I feel now? My position hasn't changed that much. Maybe it's negativity, maybe it's being a realist. I just have a feeling they're not going to make such a deep run. I'll tell you, I don't know if I want to make this declaration here, Jacqueline, because this is pretty wild breaking news. It might be good for your clicks, but I really don't know. But I'll say what I was thinking the other day in the car. I was in the car the other day, and I was thinking about the Raptors championship run. And I remember being unsure if they were going to do it or not. And I don't even know if you remember this, because this was years ago, but I did say in 2019, I said if the Raptors win the NBA championship, and I said this, I believe, before the playoffs, I'll shave my head bald.
Of course I remember, yeah.
Won the championship, and I shaved my head bald. I was a man of my word. I was in the car the other day, and I was honestly thinking to myself, and I don't know if I want to make this declaration yet. I'm a little bit of a coward, Jacqueline, but I was really thinking that I might have to go out there and say if the Jays pull it off, because I'm so confident they're not, I will get a Toronto Blue Jays tattoo. Some sort of tattoo, either the logo. So, but to be clear, I have no tattoos, so that would be a big deal. Because I'm so confident this team is not winning at all that I have very much. I don't know if I want to make the 100% declaration right now.
When will you know if you want to make that? Come on.
Before postseason, and I could come back on maybe and really kind of stir it up. But I'm really debating. And look, if I say it, I'll be a man of my word.
You're gonna do it. You're a man of your word. 100%.
So, again, I think maybe I come back on and I'll make that decision maybe on the air another time. But I really am considering kind of putting that into the universe that if the Jays can pull this off and win the World Series, I will get some sort of, my first ever tattoo will be some sort of Jays logo, Toronto Blue Jays, something. Because I'm and I hate to be negative, but I really do see them flame you out in the playoffs is the bottom line. It's the Toronto Blue Jays. To me, it's almost, I don't want to say Toronto Maple Leafs ass because they're not the Leafs. The Leafs are the biggest chokers, but I just don't see them making a super deep run, unfortunately.
Listen, man. Listen. A part of me is talking because I have just loved this team. I started talking highly of the Blue Jays when they were like 20-20, like early on the season. I was one of those people, and I have a viral clip of me on TikTok talking about it, and all the comments back then are roasting me. They can't beat a real team. You're crazy. Look at us now. We're number one in the AL, baby.
Crazy.
We're number one.
Yeah.
I have been hot on this team, and I continue to get hotter because the Jays have gotten better. And one of those reasons is because the Jays traded for Shane Bieber. Shane Bieber hasn't played in over 2 years. He has been recovering. Sorry, not 2 years. Over a year.
Over a year. Okay.
500 days.
Yeah. Crazy.
Not 2 years. Over 500 days. And he made his start with the Jays last week in Miami. I didn't know what I was going to see from him, considering, so he had Tommy John surgery, which is very common for pitchers. And sometimes they come back and they're not the same. We've seen it many times. Shane Bieber comes back. I'm thinking they're going to play him for maybe 4 innings. That's it. He played 6 innings, allowed 2 hits, only 2 hits, 1 run with 9 strikeouts. Beautiful. We found our ace, and that is going to help us go deep in the playoffs, because I think our starting 3 is going to be the exact starting 3 that's going to happen this weekend, starting tonight against the Brewers, who are the best team in the MLB, the number 1 in the NL. Shane Bieber, Kevin Gausman, and my man Max Scherzer. That is what's going to win it for us.
That is a really strong 3, by the way. I do have to say that is very strong.
And you know what? Mm-hmm.
Let me say this. I'm sorry to interrupt you, Jacqueline. Shoutouts to Kevin Gausman. He is my neighbor. I will not out where he lives. I will not out my address. But Kevin Gausman is very close to me, and I haven't personally, but people in my family while walking the dog have seen him on his lawn. They haven't really bothered him because they don't want to be annoying, but Kevin Gausman does live in my neighborhood. I know the exact house, everything. Again, I'm obviously not saying that would be crazy, but yes, Kevin Gausman is my neighbor. So shout out.
He's a good dude.
So if he does win a World Series championship for the Jays, that would be pretty cool because he lives right around the corner from me. So
Kevin Gausman seems like a great guy, great family man. And he's your neighbor. I assume he's a nice neighbor if you ever see him around and whatnot. Yeah. But he is one of our top guys. He possibly the ace. I don't really know who I'd consider our ace right now, but there's something special about this Jays team because even with Vladdy, yes, he's been so hot in the second half of the season. After returning from his hamstring injury in the last 3 games, he's only had 1 hit in 3 games, which was the game I was at with the 2 RBIs, which was so much fun to be at. What a scene it was at Rogers Center.
Yeah.
But everyone is stepping up. George Springer, I just bought a George Springer jersey. That's how much I love this guy. I went out. Listen, I have my Vladdy Canada Day jersey over there, which I love.
That's a beautiful.
And I have some. I love it. And I have some older jerseys. I have like a Jose Reyes jersey from, I don't know, 2012 maybe.
Hashtag love this team. Hashtag love this team. Those days, eh? Those days.
I have a Pilar jerseys. Like I have a little bit of everything. But I was like, you know what? I need to get a jersey for my man, for my favorite player.
Can I ask
George Springer.
Let me ask you. I actually wanted to bring up Springer. I really did because we talked about him last time, so I actually wanted to chat about him again. How old is George Springer?
35, I believe.
I honestly, if you want, and again, I very clearly just said I'm not that hot on the Jays. I mean, I think they're great. They're having a great season. I just, unfortunately, I'm not so positive about the postseason, but they are fun. They are exciting, and they do look great. I couldn't be more impressed by George Springer. And I know you love him, so I know you're happy to kind of talk about this. The guy's 35. I got to say, I did not expect the season he's having. He has, 24, 25 home runs, hitting about 300.
Like one of the best hitters in the MLB right now.
He's had multiple 2-home run games. One of the games I was at against the Yankees, he had 2 home runs. It's unbelievable what he's doing. I actually just want your thoughts on George Springer because I actually, if you said to me who's your most impressive Jay on the year, I'd have to say George Springer because I think what he's doing is at 35 is just unbelievable.
Springer at 35 is just it's absurd. we signed him in 2021, and he never really lived up to the hype of what we thought he was going to be for the past 4 years. So there was a lot of, I guess, disappointment with Springer for the past couple of years. So going into 2025, well, to begin with, 2025, this was supposed to be not a playoff team. This was not supposed to be anything. Like, this was supposed to be just like another year of failure. However, Springer at 35 just all of a sudden got it going. And I think a big part of this is the Jays hitting coach, David Popkins. He was, let me fact check this. I believe he was with the Minnesota Twins and did not get rehired by them. And yeah, and he just signed with the Jays this offseason. I think what David Popkins has done for our entire team, he is the unsung hero of this team because he somehow was able to figure out every player's mechanics, figure out how to hit better positioning, and Springer is somehow playing some of his best baseball that he has ever played. And remember, he's a World Series champion. He's a World Series MVP. Yet, the way he's playing right now is some of the best baseball I've ever seen. So shout out Springer, obviously, for getting it done. But David Popkins is the real hero of how all these guys are playing. Look at this whole team. Addison Barger. Who the hell was Addison Barger 5 months ago?
Looks great.
No one knew that kid's name, and now look at him.
Yeah.
Now look at him. Ernie Clement hitting. Davis Schneider with a two-run bomb the other night. 2 home runs.
Yeah.
Vladdy is already Vladdy. Bo is playing great. Everyone is figuring it out. Kirky. Alejandro Kirk is an all-star again this year.
Yeah. Love that.
This whole team has just gotten better and better, and everyone who comes up too. Our team is too good. Like Joey Loperfido is back in the minors because our team is too stacked. We don't have room for him. Dalton Varsho seems to only hit home runs. I don't think he knows how to hit a single. He only hits doubles, triples, and or home runs. This team is going to win the World Series because our pitching is fixed. Listen, we have bullpen issues, which is a whole other episode, I think. But our pitching, not fixed, but it's improved with the help of Shane Bieber. But tonight's going to be the real test, I think, because we're playing against the best team. But we can hit. Fantastic defense. Andres Jimenez, one of the most exciting defenders in baseball. And the guys can hit home runs. Everyone on this team can contribute. I don't care if you're first or if you're ninth. These guys are hitting, and they are going to win it.
This is what I'll say to you, Jacqueline. What's interesting, too, is obviously the one time I famously, or not famously, but whatever, in my world famously, said, I shaved my head bald, the Raptors won the championship. They won the championship, and they faced one of the great teams of all time in Golden State, and, Kevin Durant gets injured, and it's just, all the stars align, and they win the whole thing. So there is a part of me that's like, if I actually do make that declaration, they probably will end up winning it because I'm saying that, right? So I'm not making the declaration yet, but you know what? I'll promise you one more podcast before the playoffs, and maybe I can. We'll see if I make the declaration or not. But.
I might be scaring you, throwing these facts at you of why this team is really damn good.
I think they're fantastic. I've been to a couple games. Both games were fun. Hopefully, I'll go to a couple more before the playoffs. But no, they're exciting. They're fantastic. We'll see. There's a lot of great teams, and you made a good point. We have a 3-game series coming up against the Brewers, or what is it?
Yep,
so we have 3 games against the best, if not the best teams in the league, right? So that's that's a big test. Like, in this type of situation, if you can get 2 or 3, that'd be fantastic. And also, it proves something, right? Like 2 or 3 against the Twins, like okay, it's the Twins. It was actually not great, but 2 or 3 against the Brewers, that would be maybe I change that a little bit.
But what about back in early July when they swept the Yankees 4 games? And listen, the Yankees aren't a great team in general, but they're the best hitters in baseball.
They're also the Yankees. Right? So they have that over us. The Yankees, Aaron Judge. Yeah, listen,
and we beat them in 4 games. So
this team has done stuff that I feel like even maybe in 2015 and other years they were good. They didn't do. Like I really feel like this team is in some ways special. I guess I just don't know if I feel it's going to translate in the postseason. Yeah. But I'm also happy if they prove me wrong. I'm happy to look like an idiot, Jacqueline, and them to make a super deep run. And if they can, even if they just made the World Series, I'd be like, you know what? Like, I eat my words. Because that's a deep run. Even if they don't win the whole thing, but they go to the World Series and they lose, that's a fantastic season, right? So I guess we'll see what happens. I hope you're right. I hope I'm wrong and you're right.
I hope that you agree to this deal as well. Because if the Jays do win, we'll have to live stream the tattoo or whatever you end up doing. It doesn't have to be a tattoo. You can decide something else.
Sure.
We can talk if you do want to do something. But you did put it out there, and I will be expecting you to make that
Yeah.
bet.
Listen, if like I said, if I say it, I'll say it on a podcast, and maybe if somehow we could live stream me in the tattoo on the podcast, that would also be crazy. I don't know if that's
Awesome.
possible, but
Good. Yeah,
you
we
know
can do
what?
it. We can do it.
Yeah. Let me think about it for another week or two,
I
right?
know I'm already like getting ready for this. I'm already getting excited, but no, I can't. I'm not going to get too excited. But
Yeah.
tonight, as I said, I really want to film this episode because the Jays are playing the Brewers tonight, starting off the 3-game series. Bieber, Gossman, Scherzer, very exciting stuff. The Jays have had some struggles with the bullpen. Not going to get too much about that because that's literally what everyone is talking about right now on every station. I'm intrigued, and I will continue talking about it because the bullpen is an issue. With our relievers, Jeff Hoffman. You know, as you saw, Jeff Hoffman lost it for us on Wednesday, but then came back on Thursday. And respect to John Schneider, our manager, for throwing Jeff Hoffman back in there after having one of the worst outings a closer can have
Yeah.
and blowing the game for us. So then put him in the next game and seal the deal. So respect to John Schneider.
I will say, in terms of John Schneider on that move, I really like that. And the reason I really like that is the same thing for any other type of sports, or even someone who works in a business or any really job. You're going to have bad moments in life, at a job, in sports, whatever it is. But if your manager or your supervisor, or whoever it might be, has the confidence to slide you back in and be like, hey, mistakes happen, go out and do it, I think that's a big boost to the player. And I also think, as the leader amongst the men, John Schneider, you want to sort of send a message of, hey, things can happen. Let's bounce back. You don't want to kind of ice a guy out, right? He makes one mistake. He screws up, and it was bad, man. I mean, like, the Jays had a 4-0 lead, and the whole team collapsed, and it was just the whole thing was a disaster.
Bad.
But I actually think it's good leadership, and it sends the right message of, we're not perfect. We're humans. Even though you're athletes and you get paid a lot, you're still human beings, and let's go back out there and let's try to win. So I think it's a great play. I think it's a good lesson for life. We make mistakes, we bounce back, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I love it.
100%. And that's sports, like sports in general is, you're going to see your guys make mistakes. You're going to see Vladdy, who had a rough first half of the season, then make these, like, become one of the best players in the MLB in the second half. That is sports, and it's a great life lesson for everyone. And that's a part of it's why we love sports. They're humans. These guys are humans, and we have to remember that. Because sometimes people forget that, but we are humans. They are humans. Yes, they're the best athletes in the world, but they are humans. And listen, if this team of the misfits and the doubted guys can win a World Series, it's like anything is possible. So I think it'd be inspiring, man.
What you just said reminded me a lot. I know I'm switching gears a bit here, but what you just said about the misfits and the unwanted, it really reminded me of Brad Marchand when the Panthers won the Cup, and he went on Instagram. He said, thank you, to the Blues. Thank you to all these.
Yes.
He just started adding all these teams, and it was like, you doubted me, you doubted this person, and what you just said reminded me of Brad Marchand adding all the teams that doubted, him and his teammates, and it would be it'd be a beautiful story. It would truly be a beautiful story, and I think it would really almost maybe change Toronto sports culture a little bit. I know the Raptors in 2019 was a little bit of a change. The truth is, and the issue with that, and I think you'll agree with me, is we kind of all know there was one man that was living in the city that was the reason, and that one man left. So it wasn't like we could be like, wow,
Kawhi Leonard.
Kawhi for years, this is a different Toronto, it's a different Raptors. It was like, he's gone, and then the team went downhill.
Yeah.
It's actually like our leader of this team is here for another 15 years. Yeah. So if they win the whole thing, it's almost like this could be the first time in our lifetime where we sort of feel like the culture of Toronto sports changes. Like, we might actually have some good teams, some winning teams.
We can build a dynasty here. The Raptors, there's no shot.
But we have to be careful, because I don't want it to seep into the Leafs culture, right? The Leafs can continue, choking and being the Leafs. But if the Jays, and Raptors can start winning, I mean, beautiful.
That'd be stunning stuff, man. And you know what? I had so much stuff that I want to talk about, but I don't really know where I want to go here. Did want to mention here, Tommy DeVito is no longer New York Giants. Rest in peace to Johnny. What was his nickname again? Not Johnny. Tommy Cutlets.
The Italian, the whole Italian thing, whatever. Yeah.
what an iconic time that was, but I'm grateful that it's over. As fun as it was to see Tommy DeVito, I'm happy that we actually have quarterbacks on this team.
Yeah, and look, I mean, you say we have quarterbacks, we do. We have three guys. But we'll see. I mean, we've talked about it, like with Winston and with Wilson, question marks. Both a little bit older. Both I think can be effective, but both clearly aren't like top-notch quarterbacks. So I think there's question marks. I think it was a little bit crazy that we had four quarterbacks. Obviously now we're down to three, which is fine. But we'll see. Like can you really say with full confidence that let's say even week 15 or 16 that Russell Wilson's still the starter? I know I can't. Like I'm not so.
I can. I can.
Yeah.
We might be seeing things with rose-colored lenses right now
Sure.
because we're Giants fans and because there's so much excitement.
Yeah.
I do think because, yeah, look at what Russell Wilson did last year. I know the Steelers were a much better team. They have a great system around them, but
Yeah.
he led them to the playoffs, right? I can see Russell Wilson doing the exact same thing. And, everyone's saying the Packers now are the Super Bowl favorites. And I'm not saying the Giants are. But how come all of a sudden, because of one guy, they're Super Bowl favorites? Jordan Love doesn't have any wide receivers to throw to. So how come all of a sudden the Packers are this number one team because of one guy? You can't. It's not just one guy who's going to make or break your team.
I mean, to me, yeah. If you ask me who the favorites are, I mean, I'm still kind of Bills, Eagles, Chiefs. I'm in that camp and stuff. For the Packers, I will say like they really addressed a major need.
Yeah,
so I think that's why people are excited about them. But yeah, I don't think they're a Super Bowl favorite. I think they got better. Like I said, I just said the three teams I think are the best: Eagles, Chiefs, Bills. Those are my three teams I think are the best. I heard somewhere. I don't know if this is true at all. So to anyone listening, or even you, Jacqueline, fact check this. I actually heard that the Bills were favorited for every game this year. Like it's pretty known the Bills have a soft schedule.
That makes sense. I'm not sure, but that would make sense.
Yeah, I heard they're the only team in the league that has every game. Obviously, early on before the season, they're favored. Again, that can change. Who knows with injuries? But yeah, I mean, listen. I have a lot of family members that are Bills fans. A lot of people in our family like the Bills.
Yeah.
Bills, Vikings, and a few other teams.
Yeah.
I hope that. Honestly, I would love to see the Bills do well. For my brother and for friends, and it'd be nice. Josh Allen's like the fucking. I just
the
swore.
Best. No, go for it. Go. I don't give a shit. You can swear.
He's the best guy. You always see the stuff he does with charities, with kids. Like it would make my listen.
He's
Obviously,
the man.
we want the Giants to win. The Giants in the Super Bowl. There's nothing like that, but it would make my heart pretty happy, especially being in Toronto, close to Buffalo. Seeing the Bills finally get over the hump and win the Super Bowl would be pretty heartwarming. Yeah, I gotta.
Bills are 100% my second team and always will be because I love that team. I love Josh Allen, man. I love Josh Allen. The Giants will always be our team, and we'll always share that of being. We'll never love another team the way we love the New York Giants. But
100%.
Man, if it's not the Giants and it's the Bills.
Yeah.
I'll be at that parade. I'll buy myself a Josh Allen jersey.
Yeah. He's just such a class act. Like super happy he won the MVP. Does so much with kids, with charities. It's hard not to love the guy. It's hard not to like that team in general, right? So if it's not the Giants, I'm with you. I would love to see the Bills get over the hump finally.
Would absolutely love to. And yeah, going into this season, man, I'm just like, I know I've been locked in on Jays, but like talking about football again, I'm just like, I have that feeling again where it's, football starting, and it's because it's also cool. It's much cooler this week in Toronto, which I don't love, honestly, but it's like, it feels like football season. College football has begun. Tomorrow's going to be insane. Like first full day. We're going to see Arch Manning play for Texas. Like it's back. Like we got football starting. Baseball playoffs will be in a little over or a little under 2 months, or a little over a month, sorry. Basketball is coming up shortly. Hockey, like this is the time for every sports fan to lock in because we have so much to look forward to. And I was going to touch on the Mitch Marner. Did you see the Mitch Marner interview? We kind of trashed on the Leafs. Did you see that?
Okay, so what I've been seeing with Marner, and it's hilarious, I've been seeing these clips of him in the Golden Knights jersey, and it's AI, and it's him like swearing and like really saying like screw the Leafs. It's not real, obviously. It's AI. Yeah. I do think I heard he actually said stuff. Tell me, I don't actually know.
I don't want to talk too much about it because honestly, I think it's just I'm over it. He's just kind of saying how bad the fans were to him and how and he talked about how he needed extra security and they were trying to come to his house, and that stuff is awful. But man, Leafs fans. Leafs, like me, I like the Leafs, but I'm not like all the other Leafs fans.
Sure.
Leafs fans are pissed because he's talking about the team still, and he's kind of like trashing on them in the fan base, and so people are really mad, like really, really mad. And honestly, it's like yes, I see that, but also if you guys were shitty fans to Marner, it's like he's gonna talk.
It's interesting with Marner. I think with him, and we might have touched on this a little bit last time. Obviously, born and raised in Toronto. I think he grew up a huge Leafs fan. I think there's hurt there, right? I think it's he grew up, he loved his team. He then got to suit up for the blue and white, which is probably a childhood dream of his come true, and he was there for many years. And the fans definitely and the media at points definitely turned on him. So I think he's in some ways probably emotionally hurt, right? If he's still in Vegas and he's still talking about the Leafs, I think he's hurt a little bit deep down. And just because he's on a new team doesn't necessarily mean he's over it. And like we kind of already discussed, he's a human being. So we like to think, oh, you got $1 million, like, whatever you got, 12 million a year, whatever his contract was, like, move on with your life. Don't talk with the Leafs. He's still a human being, right? He was with Toronto for a long time. So, there's like a part of me that gets it, right? Especially because it's not just that he played for the Leafs, that he grew up a huge Leafs fan. And look, if you asked him what's the perfect ending, the perfect ending is they win a cup and he's a hometown hero and, he's free food for life and everyone loves him. Instead, he was thrown out of the city. Like, quite literally thrown out of the city, and now he's in the desert, like on the Vegas Strip, and just in a totally different place. And quite honestly, I think he'll probably do a lot better in Vegas. I don't care as much. They have a great team. It wouldn't shock me if Vegas wins a cup in the next few years, and Leafs fans are even more bitter. But yeah, him talking bad about the Leafs, which, like I said, I've only kind of heard about and seen bits and pieces, is probably just a lot of emotional stuff, right? Him not fully being over the hurt from how how the things ended.
Toronto fans are really mad, like on Twitter. Like people are really mad. So I watched the interview and I'm like, it's not bad. He's being honest. He felt scared in his own home.
Yeah.
And yes, some of that could be BS, of course, but some of that could be real because he's a human. We talked about this all episode. These guys are humans, and people are sending death threats, I think, to him, right?
And just add on about like him being scared in his own home. He's a hockey player, right? So he's not an MMA fighter. He's not a huge football player. He's a hockey player, and he's a small hockey player. So if people are in his DMs saying, I'm going to kill you, and I'm going to, people say awful things I don't even want to say, but if people are saying really horrible things about him and his family and just different people in his life, siblings, whatever it might be, it's reasonably scared in his own home because he's not some huge menacing guy, right? He's still, even though he's an athlete, he's a small guy, right? So if people are saying these things, I mean, to me, that makes perfect sense, right? Like, I don't imagine you're a star athlete in the city of Toronto, get a lot of attention, and you get thousands and thousands of messages threatening you. You might be scared at home too.
Terrifying.
Right? Yeah,
it's terrifying stuff, man. So people gotta but that's a Toronto Maple Leafs culture. We talked about a lot last time, where I think a lot of times the lights were too bright for Marner, and I think not even just the lights, but I think the pressure and the hate and the way that people treat our players. Like the Leafs fans, they're not like Jays fans. They're not like Raptor fans. They're their own breed. These Maple Leafs fans, they're a little vicious to their players, and I understand, right? We haven't won a Stanley Cup since the 1960s, so I understand that. But honestly, people got to chill. People got to relax. Okay, it's a sport. These are human beings. Okay, we get it, but let's just enjoy sports, man, because it's coming up soon.
And you're 100% right, and it's almost like, in that sense too, of them being human beings, it's almost like if the media and the fans took off 20%, you peeled it back 20%, less craziness with the questions and the hounding, and the fans were sort of more laissez-faire and kind of just 20% peeled it back, you'd probably get better results, right? Because I think that pressure does sort of seep into the locker room.
Look at the Florida Panthers. How many fans did they have freaking 5 years ago?
Yeah.
It's like...
It's almost like you take off the pressure a little bit, and I'm not saying they all of a sudden win multiple Stanley Cups or anything like that, but it's almost like you take the pressure off, and maybe they'd have a little more success, right? Less pressure and more results.
Because, like, look at the Raptors and the Jays. We've always had diehard fans, and Toronto media is always a little crazy, and there's always expectations. But the craziness about these players was not like anything we've seen with the Leafs, right? When the Raptors went on their run, we were excited. Yes, there was negative talks because if they lost this game in the playoffs, sure. But there was an excitement. We were happy for what our team is doing. And the same thing with the Jays. Even when we lose, I look at the positives. I'm like, oh, you know what? Kirk had a huge hit. Varsho made a great catch. That's how I like to view sports. And I think a lot of people don't view sports. They like to view the negatives. And that's what Maple Leafs fans only do. they can't be excited about a winning season. They
Right.
can only be negative because Marner was bad in the playoffs,
Yeah.
which is terrible, which you don't want to see.
Yeah.
But it's like it's 1 year, right? It's 1 year. Show a little positivity to your team. That's what we do with our Giants.
Yeah. Give
After a
little love.
bad game,
Yep.
with Daniel Jones, I said, Daniel Jones didn't throw 5 interceptions at least.
Yeah, you threw in 2, right? So it's not that bad.
One
Yeah,
pick
yeah.
six,
Yeah, give a little love. Listen, I think we touched on a good point. Like, they're human beings, these athletes, right? So of course we have expectations. They make millions and millions of dollars. So there's a level of accountability they have to have. And I think some of the backlash on Marner is that fans and the media don't feel accountability, which I understand can be frustrating. But at the same time, they're young. Especially someone like Marner, he's young. And he's a human. It doesn't matter that he's making all this money. He's still a human being. He still has emotions. He still has all the issues that a lot of people have that aren't millionaires, right? So I'm with you. Sports should be fun. When you get to the point that you're going on Twitter or DMing someone death threats and saying terrible things, it's like, what are we doing here? Like, why are we? Yeah.
Why? Like, I get angry with sports. I'm not saying like I'm always positive. Oh no, only 2 pick sixes or whatever. I'm not like I'm an angry fan. I'm yelling at my TV. But like I'm not gonna go and DM Daniel Jones being like, "Hey, screw you." Like what?
Yeah.
What? And
It's
people do that. Like it's crazy to me.
Yeah, it's really weird behavior. Is just what it is.
I've
right?
never sent a message to a player being like, "Hey, screw you. I lost my fantasy championship." Like, what?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. It's like, why do they care? Like, do you think they actually are gonna read it? And even if they do, like, do they care? The answer is
no.
Right?
They don't care. So guys, be passionate, and like it's great to be passionate. I'm a passionate sports fan. I'm angry. Like I yell at Daniel Jones on my TV. Keep that in your house, Talk to your friends about it, about how much you hate this player or how angry you are with this player, right? With that Hoffman loss, I was talking with my brother, who was a newly big on the Jays fan. He was angry with Hoffman. And I'm like, listen, man. Well, he would never message Hoffman. He's not that kind of person. He would never go onto Twitter and be like, screw Hoffman. Like, we're just not those kind of people. But he was angry, man. He was angry. I'm like, listen. The Jays are going to figure it out. He's a human. And when the Rogers Center was booing Hoffman, like, I'm 50-50 on it. I didn't love the booing on Hoffman. It's one thing if they're a losing team and you see that. We're a winning team. Hoffman has a ton of saves. I don't love the booing. I love holding players accountable, which you can tell he took accountability for that, and the team took, not called him out, but understood that it was Hoffman's fault in the ninth. But let them make a comeback and show you what they're made of what Hoffman did the next night. Yeah. So we're kind of rambling here, but I think the message here is be passionate, be angry with your team, but don't go onto social media sending threats to these players. They are human beings. Enjoy the sport, because sports are here for us to enjoy,
Agreed. Jonathan, I think that's a beautiful message. I agree. Go enjoy your sports and have fun.
Have fun, man. Be angry too. Trust me. I would wake up days Giants lose, and I'm in a bad mood because of it, and that's okay.
Is there really anything worse than Giants 4 p.m. game? They get blown out, and then you got to wake up the next day on a Monday. You have work, you have school, whatever. You have responsibilities. You're in a terrible mood because Daniel Jones threw 20 interceptions. You lost 30-0 or 30-7. I mean, there's nothing worse. But
back in high school, man, those were brutal mornings. Waking up early, math class, and the Giants just got blown out by the freaking Dallas Cowboys the night before.
Not fun, but you move on. You live your life, and you go on to the next Sunday, and hopefully they win.
Hopefully they win, exactly. So great messages here. We're just trying to spread a little positivity. It's not always going to be positive. I'm going to come on this podcast ranting about a player, but there's a difference between ranting about a player and hating on a player. Sure. Very big differences. So show love to these guys. They work hard. Yes, they're making a lot of money, but you guys are watching for a reason because we love it. Yeah. I'm going to end it here. Owen, again, thank you for coming on. You're always welcome here. Friend of the show. Show's a friend of you. Love having you on. Talk Giants, Jays, Leafs, basketball when it comes. A little bit of everything. Tonight we got Shane Bieber starting at 7:07 p.m. So I'm gonna get this episode out right away because it's a little bit late. So excited. Go Jays go, and Giants start next week. Let's go, baby. Again, thank you, Owen, man. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Follow me on Spotify as well. Follow the Instagram, Keep It Kula podcast. And I will see you next time. Bye-bye.
Peace.